Hello, this is Marissa Henriksen, and this presentation is on the current regional farm-level market for full-weight grain-fed beef cattle in the south-central United States from 2015 to 2020. In this, I will talk about the market characteristics, the marketing area, the attributes of general producers and consumers. I will also look at the current equilibrium quantity and then 6 supply and demand shift factors I believe could occur within the time period. To begin, I will define the market characteristics. Full-weight cattle are cattle that are mature at the time of sale. They will be approximately a year old and around 1,100 pounds and will look similar in body composition to the steer shown on the screen. Grain-fed cattle are cattle that are fed primarily grain, usually corn, as a source of energy. Beef cattle can be defined as cattle of a particular breed meant primarily for human consumption, such as Angus or Herefords. This excludes dairy cattle due to different body compositions. This market is a farm-level market, meaning cattle are produced on the farms and sent to the next level of producers. The geographic region is the south-central United States, as highlighted on the map. This includes the states of Texas, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, and Colorado. This area fits the market as there are a large number of producers of full-weight beef cattle located in the region. As a result, a lot of consumers are located in this region as well. This geographic region is relatively small and limited due to cost constraints associated with shipping. Cattle cannot be shipped for more than about 12 hours without greatly increasing costs due to welfare and legal reasons. The typical producer is a feedlot, also known as a concentrated animal feeding operation, or CAFO. CAFOs generally buy younger cattle at around 600 pounds to finish them to a mature weight. CAFOs can be a variety of sizes. Lots with less than 4,000 head are called farm feeders. Lots with over 4,000 head, like the one shown in the photo, are called commercial lots. These can have numbers of over 30,000 cattle. The typical consumer is a slaughter buyer or meat processing plant, as shown on screen. These consumers generally buy cattle in large numbers from sales, auctions, or farm direct. Once bought, cattle are taken to the facility and slaughtered, then turned into a value-added product such as meat or hide. Next, I will look at the equilibrium price and quantity of this market. It is important to note, however, that the unit of production for cattle is 100 pounds of live cattle, written as hundredweight or CWT. A full weight cow will generally be around 11 hundredweight. The unit of valuation for this market is US dollars. In order to estimate the equilibrium quantity, I computed the number of pounds slaughtered by state based on the 2014 USDA report, then totaled the states in the region together. This produced live weight, which I then divided by 100 to get live 100 weight. This number was 272,974,200 hundredweight. In order to estimate equilibrium price, I looked at 5 different market reports at 3 months intervals in 2014. For each summary, I averaged the price of all cattle over 800 pounds by state. Once I found the averages per state, I took the weighted average based on the number of cattle sold in the state to find the average price of the geographic region. I found the equilibrium price to be $186.04 per hundredweight. It should be noted that the price increased significantly over the course of 2014, but by taking averages, it leaves us with a much more accurate assessment. The equilibrium price and quantity are shown on the graph. I will now take a look at supply shift factors of this market. I believe that over the time period, the price of corn-based feed and input in production for cattle will increase. The current equilibrium price and quantity for beef cattle reflects a fairly low price of corn. This low price drove many corn producers to switch to substitutes in production, which decreases supply. Additionally, increasingly severe weather patterns throughout much of the Midwest will decrease supply further. Both of these decreases in supply increases the price of corn. Increases in ethanol use will also increase demand for corn, which will further increase the price. This increase of price in the input of production will shift the supply of beef cattle to the left, as shown on the graph. This will decrease the equilibrium quantity while increasing the equilibrium price. Additionally, throughout this time period, I expect to see an increase in the price of dairy breed cattle used for meat production, which are substitutes in production for beef cattle. This increase is due to increased technologies allowing for easier, more cost and energy efficient ways of producing dairy cattle with better body compositions. This increase in the price of a substitute in production will shift the supply to the left as shown, which decreases equilibrium quantity but increases equilibrium price. The final supply shift factor I expect to see is a decrease in the number of producers. This is due to a general trend of small farmers becoming less and less profitable. Large corporate farms keep increasing at minimum efficient scale. Additionally, the area has been plagued with severe weather, which will force a lot of producers to quit producing. This decrease will shift the supply curve to the left, decreasing the equilibrium quantity once more, as well as increasing the equilibrium price. A demand shift factor I expect to see within this time period is an increase in the price of chicken. This is due to the outbreak of avian flu, which killed a large number of chickens. Additionally, the growing size of cages for chicken due to animal rights trends increases the cost as well. As beef and chicken are substitutes in consumption, the increased price of chicken will increase demand for beef, shifting the curve to the right. This will increase the equilibrium quantity as well as increase the equilibrium price. Another demand shift factor I expect to see within the time period is a decrease in consumer preferences for beef. There are large societal trends against meat for animal welfare purposes. These continue to gain momentum and following. Health trends will also diminish preferences for beef. Recent studies have even claimed that red meat can be a carcinogen, and California is considering labeling it as so. This would significantly diminish the preferences for beef as well as the demand. The decrease in the consumer preferences will shift the demand curve to the left, decreasing equilibrium quantity and decreasing equilibrium price. The final shift in demand I expect to see is due to an increase in incomes. The current equilibrium price and quantity is based on conditions at the end of a recession. Generally, higher incomes can be expected after that. Additionally, minimum wage is a hot political topic, and it can be reasonably assumed that it will increase to some extent within the time period. The increase in income will increase demand, which will shift the demand curve to the right. This increases equilibrium quantity as well as price. In order to determine the overall effect of the demand and supply shift factors, I will be assigning values based on their relative effect on quantity. The sign will show the direction of the change, and the number will be based on relative significance. The numbers can be seen on the chart under supply significance or demand significance. I have also totaled together all of the effects under supply and all of the effects under demand to give the joint effects. The most significant supply shift factor is the increased price of corn-based feed. This is because corn-based feed is the most important input of production, so it greatly affects the price of producing beef cattle. Additionally, the most significant demand shift factor is the increased price of chicken. This is because it will have such a large increase that it will really affect people's demand for chicken and therefore the demand for beef. This is a depiction of the graphical consequences of the demand and supply shifts based on the significance values given in the table. As shown, supply shifts significantly to the left, demand shifts to the right, but only about half the distance supply did. This leads to a small decrease in equilibrium quantity, but a large increase in price. These market conditions will change in the ways specified, in the time period specified, and for the reasons specified. Market predictions are an inexact science and cannot be guaranteed with any sense of accuracy. This analysis was for AEC 306, Technical Communication in Agriculture, taught by Roger Brown at the University of Kentucky.